I find it so fascinating as well that Ryan is posting about this and then closing off the comment section after 19 people liked or commented something positive. It just looks terrible that he only has like 19 friends that can say something nice about him and Maximum Effort, which was the company that he was talking a lot about, and which was the company that was one of the top 100 most influential blah 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 in the world.
Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively should have been basking in the glow of champagne toasts and flashbulbs. Their freshly minted spots on Time magazine's 2025 100 Most Influential list were supposed to cement them as Hollywood's golden couple, powerful, generous, and adored. Instead, the gala's red carpet sparkle was swallowed by a darker narrative before the night was over. Viewers scrolling their phones didn't see congratulations. They saw accusations. Headlines branded the honor a buy-in. Gossip sites screamed about backroom payments, and a single question echoed across social feeds. Did they just purchase influence?
Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively get yet another fake PR award from Time magazine. Hanging out together at these rich events. There he is. Oh, look at them.
The backlash hit faster than any viral tweet Reynolds has ever fired off. Overnight, entertainment columns and YouTube pundits turned the gala snapshots into evidence of corruption. The couple's smiling faces suddenly looked less like triumph and more like spin. Fans asked how a 2019 charity check or a sarcastic Deadpool post from years ago could possibly qualify someone as the voice of 2025. Even diehard supporters found themselves wondering if the list had quietly become a pay-to-play platform. Time has never been saintly. It runs on ads, relationships, and prestige. Like any other glossy, but critics pointed to something more concrete: the magazine's submission fees for its other marquee lists.
The Time 100 Most Influential Companies cover with Ryan Reynolds that was released or published last week, and everyone's like, he bought that cover, this is so corrupt. And I mean, that could be.
Inventors, companies, and startups routinely shell out hundreds just to have their applications read. Sure, the influential ranking isn't officially paywalled, but the precedent was set. If fees can open one door, why wouldn't a seven-figure PR budget fling open another? At the center of the suspicion sits Mark Benioff, the Salesforce billionaire who bought Time in 2018. Benioff insists his ownership is hands-off, but every time one of his cloud software allies pops up in a glowing article, the whispers start again. Now the whispers have turned into full-volume outrage because Ryan Reynolds isn't just an actor with a telecom side hustle. His marketing firm, Maximum Effort, once partnered with Salesforce on a splashy social media campaign. If Hollywood runs on quid pro quo, critics ask, was the gala simply the latest transaction? Reynolds and Lively's camp pushed back hard, waving a receipt of a different kind. The couple's $1 million donation to the NAACP Legal Defense Fund back in 2019. Philanthropy, they argued, reflects real influence, the power to put money where change is needed. It's a noble stance, yet skeptics noticed the timing. A 4-year-old check suddenly resurfaced in puff pieces right before the list dropped, as though dusted off from a trophy shelf. And while donations matter, plenty of generous stars missed the list entirely, because generosity alone rarely lands you a magazine cover. The timing looks even trickier alongside another storm swirling in Tinseltown, the Justin Baldoni debacle. Baldoni, a director, actor, and recently minted defendant, accused the couple's allies of orchestrating a nasty smear campaign over the film adaptation of It Ends With Us. The lawsuit was dismissed this June on a technicality, yet discovery documents keep dripping into the public domain, and every leak paints a messier picture. If Reynolds and Lively needed a distraction, stepping onto Time's golden podium at the exact moment Baldoni's lawyers demanded their text messages is either astonishing luck or strategic genius. Enter Maximum Effort, the marketing machine that turns Reynolds' sarcasm into stacked millions. The agency is legendary for fast fraternising, writing, shooting, and releasing irreverent ads in mere hours. It's why you've seen Reynolds hype aviation gin by poking fun at that budget airline video or spoofing an awkward tech demo. The speed, the wit, the self-deprecation, it all feels authentic, right up until it fuels a bigger brand objective. This year, the agency's own Time profile landed days after the influential announcement celebrating its trailblazing disruption of ad culture. To media skeptics, it looked less like independent journalism and more like cross-promotion under one corporate roof. Hollywood insiders felt the chill next. A-list co-stars suddenly weren't available for proposed projects. Big brands delayed endorsement negotiations, citing reputation reviews. Behind closed doors, agents whispered that any campaign featuring Reynolds risked becoming an online referendum about integrity. For a couple who built their empire on relatability, Lively cooking pancakes on Instagram, Reynolds tweeting jokes during diaper changes, a credibility dent can spread faster than a meme. But the quake isn't confined to two celebrities. Time itself, once shorthand for unimpeachable prestige, is watching its credibility curve dip. Comment sections fill with cynics dissecting ownership structures and editorial disclosures. If a century-old magazine can't prove its lists are merit-based, what happens to every honoree who proudly frames that glossy cover? Investors, activists, and fans are starting to treat magazine accolades like sugar glass, pretty in photographs, fragile under pressure. Zoom out, and the fallout threatens the very business model that powers Hollywood's influencer economy. Reynolds Aviation Gin, Mint Mobile, and countless brand tie-ins rely on one core asset: the public's affection for Ryan Reynolds. Lively's fashion collabs, lifestyle ventures, and red carpet deals depend on the belief that she embodies authenticity and style. If trust erodes, contracts follow. No corporate counsel wants to defend a partnership when comment sections read "paid for influence" on loop. Add the generational shift, and the couple faces a double blow. Younger audiences grew up running background checks on everything, from vegan snack brands to climate pledges before hitting add to cart. They spot sponsored posts by the font size of the hashtag. They download browser extensions that flag greenwashing. To them, paying for positive press is downright embarrassing, not savvy. And they possess the digital receipts to call it out, frame by frame. Meanwhile, the Baldoni saga refuses to die. Every fresh leak from that legal labyrinth revives conversation about Hollywood's dirty PR tricks, including ghost-written op-eds, choreographed friendships, and blacklistings. Baldoni may have lost the case, but he won a megaphone. Each time he appears on a podcast or issues a pointed no comment, the narrative recenters on manipulative power plays. Whether or not Reynolds and Lively masterminded Baldoni's woes, they've become shorthand for the type of image control audiences are rejecting. Yet if Hollywood excels at one thing, it's comebacks. The industry's history is a carousel of tarnished stars who found redemption in a heartfelt confession, a low-budget passion project, or a tear-stained interview on morning television. Reynolds and Lively could lean into humility, admit whatever missteps occurred, and funnel their star power into a cause the internet can verify in real time. Audiences like sincerity, and they forgive quickly when it feels genuine. But sincerity can't be copywritten by an ad firm. It shows up in unscripted charity work, courtroom transparency, and yes, a willingness to let the spotlight glare on your mistakes. In the meantime, other celebrities are watching with popcorn bag attention. Because if a couple as beloved and media-savvy as Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds can stumble on the same red carpet that crowned them, nobody's security blanket is safe. A single glossy cover can mutate into a liability overnight. A single gala selfie can become Exhibit A in a public trial about authenticity. That realization is making PR teams across Los Angeles rewrite their playbooks, swapping splashy reveals for slower, verifiable wins. And what about Time magazine? Its editors now juggle two crises: protecting a century of legacy journalism while navigating 21st century transparency culture. They can revamp their list criteria, invite independent auditors, or bury their heads in a stack of vintage issues and hope the outrage cycle scrolls onward. But the internet rarely forgets. One exposed crack invites 1,000 amateur investigators with VPNs and patience. Simply issuing a boilerplate statement about editorial independence might have worked in 19... Today, readers want footnotes, spreadsheets, and open data. Back in the Reynolds Lively household, where social media silence has replaced witty dispatches, the calculus must feel brutally simple. Keep denying and risk looking tone-deaf, or acknowledge the optics and risk validating the outrage. Either way, the next move is under a microscope. One misworded tweet can reignite the bonfire. One corporate pivot can look self-serving. On the other hand, a genuine course correction could spin public sentiment again. Viewers love a redemption arc almost as much as they love a scandal. For everyday fans, the lesson is bigger than any magazine list. Influence, once measured by column inches and Nielsen ratings, now lives in retweets, watchdog threads, and Discord servers. The gatekeepers haven't disappeared, they've multiplied. Each user can screenshot, screen record, and publish to millions in seconds. The marketplace of celebrity is more open than ever, but also more brutal. One whisper of inauthenticity, and the crowd can evaporate faster than a flashbulb. That brings us to you, the viewer with earbuds in, or the creator plotting your own brand strategy. Remember this saga the next time a shiny plaque or curated headline flashes across your feed. Ask who benefits, who pays, who owns the platform, and whose story didn't make the cut. Influence can be inspiring when it's earned. It sparks movements, donations, even revolutions. When it's purchased, it collapses under its own weight, dragging reputations down with it. Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively may yet script the comeback of the decade. They have charisma, resources, and an industry that thrives on reinvention. But the road back begins with transparency, not another clever quip. Hollywood is holding its breath, the press is sharpening pens, and audiences are ready to judge every apology, every new role, every philanthropic pledge. So keep your notifications on. The next twist in this story could redefine how awards are bestowed, how magazines monetize prestige, and how much longer celebrity charm can outrun digital scrutiny. Until then, remember, behind every dazzling headline might lurk a receipt, and the internet never forgets to read the fine print.